we might get into it.
Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand, 'cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, 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 if you just believe,
Yes. Bet you guys haven't seen me in a while. Yeah, did you miss me? It's been like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 minutes maybe since you last saw me. So we're back, and I'm here with Joe. We're going to do more City talk. Obviously, I know most of you are City fans, even though we talk about everything going on here. We're going to chat more on Caicedo. I know all of you just watched that stream. So we want to chat about Caicedo. We're going to do more Gvardiol talk. I want Joe's opinions. So you guys share your opinions. I'm going to read out most of your chats. Of course, super chats will always get priority, but I'll do my best to get through most of the chat. Joe, flick your lights on there if you could. People are saying they can't see Joe properly. How are you doing anyway, Joe?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I enjoyed the slightly extended, but the Avengers show. It's the first one I've caught in a little while. I enjoyed it, man. It was a lot of slander for our boy Calvin Phillips, though, that I wasn't too impressed about. But you know, we won't speak on that.
Yeah. Listen, 180 in the building. I must say that's absolutely crazy. I couldn't tell you the last time we had 180 in the building here. So please, if you would, just smash a like on the stream. It really helps me and Joe. And subscribe to the channel if you're new. Rachel says I didn't like the Calvin slander. I must say, Rachel, I agree. Asan didn't like Calvin. He's a big fan of Caicedo. Daps wasn't having Caicedo. We had, contrasting opinions, which is always good when you have those kind of debate shows. It's good to have contrasting opinions, have good chats, and see what people are thinking. But listen, we may as well start off with, I actually want to start off with Caicedo, because I've talked so much about Gvardiol, so have you, but we will move on to Gvardiol. But I want to start with Caicedo, and because there's 190 in the building, like I said, keep smashing the likes. Joe, make a poll. Caicedo to City, would you take it? Yes or no? Out and out chat. What are we saying, Caicedo? Because the word is there's a mystery bid from another Premier League club. Supposedly it's not Liverpool, who were interested in Caicedo. And could it be Manchester City? Could it be Manchester City that are trying to sign Caicedo? We went in for Declan Rice with a bid. The bid was more than what the alleged bid for Caicedo is, so we have the money. The money is there. Could we be the club interested in signing Moises Caicedo right from under the noses of Chelsea? Could we hijack that deal? If I'm not mistaken, Chelsea have had 3 or 4 bids rejected from Brighton. I haven't even fully followed that deal because it hasn't been related to City, so I haven't been on top of it. But all of a sudden, Joe, my brain has been triggered a bit. Could we see Caicedo in a City shirt?
I hope so. I mean, Asan sold it to me pretty well and drove the price up while he was at it, which we thank him for. But I'd love to see it, man. And if I'm going to be honest, it's not something... I mean, I'm like you. I'm in the same boat as you. I haven't been keeping up with the transfer at all because it just hasn't concerned us. And I didn't think it would concern us. I thought it was going to be between Chelsea, between Arsenal, of whether Arsenal went for Rice or Caicedo or both. Maybe Man United, but Man United seem to have blown their budget on other areas. So it seems like Chelsea just had this free run to Caicedo, and that's kind of where I thought it would go, that they'd just, they'd both play hardball over prices. We know Brighton want to go for a big high price. They do that with every single one of their deals. And we know that Chelsea, they're in this sort of transition period where they've got no European football. They've tried to trim down their squad. They're under a new manager, and, everybody knows that they've gone and spent an unholy amount of cash in the last couple of transfer windows, so they know that cash is not hard to come by there. So both sides playing hardball. It was never going to, be this quick and easy thing that was resolved. But then out of nowhere, you've got this mystery bid from another Premier League club, and if you just go by process of elimination, it leads to City. It doesn't really lead anywhere else. I mean, the article says it's not Liverpool, so you can immediately rule them out. We obviously know that Chelsea are already there. I don't think it would be Man United because I think they've already spent sizable in other areas. I don't think they have the biggest budget. I don't think they'd be able to afford it. Same with Arsenal. Arsenal have just gone and spent a lot. They've just gone and signed Rice. I doubt they'd be interested in Caicedo for that type of money. I look at Spurs and just completely disregard them whatsoever. I just don't see it. They're playing in, I think Spurs got Europa League in the end, so it's not like an upgrade on Brighton, really. So I don't think it'd be Spurs going in. I don't think they have the cash for it either, at least not until they sell Harry Kane, if they sell Harry Kane. And then I look at someone like Newcastle and go, well, they just spent loads on Tonali, who plays in a similar position, in that midfield role. So that kind of leaves you with us as that mystery unnamed club. I don't think it'd be like anybody else, because obviously he's looking for that upgrade. He's looking for that Champions League level football. There's only 4 teams there, and if again you go by process of elimination, I don't see anybody else that it can be. And of course, Tolmy gave it his seal of approval. I do like to be beside the seaside. So it's leaning towards us, but I didn't see it coming.
I just want to say it's actually mad how many people we have in the building right now. Genuinely, thank you all so much for coming in. I know you come from the City Extra stream, but to get you guys in here and chatting to us as well is unbelievable. So we're 15 likes off 100 already, which is crazy. So please, like I said, if you would just smash the like button. But Asan made a really good point on that Avengers show, and I don't think about it too often, but it is very true, which is that categorically City have the money to close any deal they want. I know, like he said as well, it's correct. We couldn't, just go and nilly-willy go and get Kylian Mbappe or a Messi in his prime or Ronaldo in his prime kind of thing. But any of these types of transfers, a Rice, a Caicedo, a Gvardiol, if we really want the player, we could close the deal. So if City have firmly decided that they have interest in acquiring the services of Moises Caicedo, and this is a player we definitely want, City can and would close the deal. But is this actually a City player, or a player City have identified as someone they want? We don't know this. This is all just genuine speculation, purely through the process of elimination. Like Joe said, what other club could it be in the Premier League that has put in a mystery bid for Caicedo? Asan, he spoke in depth about this breaking news about Caicedo, and I think a lot of what he said was very, very worth thinking about. Is there a chance Brighton would manufacture this bid and make it up as a complete lie to put Chelsea under pressure to come in with a refined bid that is more likely to be accepted by Brighton? Absolutely not. I think it would be a suicidal move by Brighton to just make up that there's a bid from another club to put Chelsea under pressure. Because what if Todd Bowley then goes, well, I'm not going to continue bidding anymore? You don't know. Bowley might decide, I'm not bidding anymore then. I'm not getting into a bidding race. You guys should have accepted us a while ago. And all of a sudden, Brighton don't get the money that they wanted for Caicedo. But is this Manchester City? How would this work for Manchester City? Where would he play? He can play as a 6. He can play as an 8. He could probably play on the wing. He has played at right back. These are all traits, or that is a trait anyway, that Pep Guardiola would be really, really attracted to. Obviously, we brought in Kovacic. Not one of these like energetic, electric midfielders. He's more of like a calm, composed player. Caicedo for me is more electric. He'd bring that eccentric, energy to our team. Is this something that could work? Is Caicedo someone that City would benefit from getting? He's obviously still very new to the top level of football, but by no short means did he smash it in his first season. You know what I mean? Or his first period anyway, since he's been in the Premier League. He's absolutely smashed it. So he's still a very, very raw talent. Would Caicedo be excited by the prospect of coming and playing under Pep Guardiola? He needs to play Champions League football. He definitely needs to come and play Champions League football wherever he goes. But where would he fit into our team is the question for me now, Caicedo. What do you think, Joe?
I don't think there's a set position where he fits, which is wild considering the price that you'd have to pay for him. He's definitely, if we were to sign him, it's more for his versatility than anything else. He's not going to start ahead of Rodri as a 6 in the big games. I don't know whether he'd start as an 8 in the big games. Maybe he would, because he's a little bit more defensive-minded, but then that's what you imagine someone like Kovacic was signed for, to give us that extra control in the midfield in a bigger game. I don't think he'd play over John Stones in that sort of hybrid defence midfield role. So I don't think he'd be a player that would have like a set position. I think he'd be used in all of those if we were to sign him. I don't think he'd have a set role in the team. I think he's definitely a player that would suit us to the ground. I mean, he ended up finishing the season playing as that sort of inverted right back that we used. So that'd be something that I would look out for, especially if you think, are we going to lose Kyle Walker? If we do lose Kyle Walker, Caicedo could fill that gap, as well as obviously the other 2 or 3 positions that he can fill in the midfield and a bit further forward. So I don't know where we'd use him. I don't know where we'd use him most. I suppose it'd depend on circumstances as to who's fit and available for each game, and which players we want to rest, etc., etc. So I don't think he can nail down a position that he would come in and fill. I think he'd fill 2 or 3. He'd be a one hell of a squad player, but of course we know it's not going to be a squad player, isn't he? Sat on the bench most weeks. If we got him, he would be used quite regularly, just not in a set role, if you get what I mean.
He's too good to be labelled a squad player, Caicedo, isn't he? He's too good to just be known as a squad player. My guess is if you were to kind of try and pinpoint him to a position, it would be as a number 8. I think he'd rotate with De Bruyne, Kovacic, probably Foden too. But if we were to get Caicedo, it would probably mean Bernardo Silva would spend a bit more time on the right wing, like he did towards the end of last season. I've been saying to you for a while now, I think we're light overall in terms of depth. I think genuinely, with the loss of Mahrez and Gundo, I think we're light a little bit in depth, especially depth and experience. And you think about the amount of competitions we're playing in, how often we pick up injuries. Having a player who could play multiple roles in Moises Caicedo, it would be a pretty big asset. It would be a pretty big asset. But after spending £77 million on Caicedo, are we likely, or on Gvardiol, I should say, are we likely to go and pull the trigger on Caicedo? Are we even interested in Caicedo? Do you know what I mean? This is all genuine speculation. Nice shave by Hugh. Yeah, big up Manscaped. They don't even sponsor us here, but they sponsor City Extra, and they made me lose my beard. I put the wrong blade on it. But the thing is with Caicedo, yeah, he needs to make the step up. We don't know if it's genuine interest from City. I just thought it was a really interesting topic off the back of that Avengers show. And just through process of elimination, I can't figure out who the other club is. Or maybe Brighton did make the ballsy decision and tell the media that there's some random bid, mysterious bid, unnamed bid, anonymous bid to put the pressure on Chelsea. I don't know if I could see City going into a bidding war, Joe.
No, I can't either. It's not something that we've ever been keen to do ever before. If you look at, I know some were saying different circumstances with the whole Rice thing, saying that Rice preferred to go to Arsenal over us, but we weren't even prepared to up our bid at all. Like if there's a player who is wanted by multiple clubs, we usually look around and see if we can find an alternative. We live by this whole, if we're not happy with the deal, we are prepared to just walk away from it. We're prepared to walk away and find someone else, which is something that, it served us well in the past, so you can't exactly say that, it's a bad thing doing that, but we know that if there's a bidding war or if the prices end up getting crazy, City will just walk away. If they're not happy with it, they'll walk away, find someone else, or find no one at all and just deal with what they have. Like, if you cast your minds back a couple of years ago with the whole trying to get Harry Kane thing, we weren't happy with the deal. We said, no, see you later, we won't buy him, and we persisted without a striker for another season. And then we ended up with Haaland. Like, we are more than okay by just doing things like that. So, I don't know, and it's weird. It's hard to really grasp because I didn't see this coming. I know that there's a Saudi club lurking, or a couple of Saudi clubs lurking in the background, trying to see if they can get in on this. Which, I mean, if Brighton have played the ultimate bluff and have gone full send for the, this is made up, there hasn't been another Premier League bid, we're just trying to get the price up from Chelsea. And then, you got Saudi Arabia sniffing around. It might just work because Saudi Arabia come in with the bid. They offer the cash. Brighton accept that. You're looking at Chelsea going, oh, well, we're going to have to pay up. So it might work out, but I don't know. I think it's too ballsy. I think it's too ballsy to just even put it out there that someone's made a bid just in case Chelsea walk away and you're left with egg on your face that no one wants him.
What's the Brighton guy called again? Tony Bloom, is it? Is it Blue or Bloom?
Yeah, I think it's Bloom.
Yeah, we know he's a bit of a bollocks when it comes to, he's a bit of a Daniel Levy when it comes to negotiations. Like, he has his ways, you know what I mean? You're not going to fuck with this guy. He has a valuation. You either meet his valuation or outdo his valuation, or you're not getting his player. We also know he's a bit of a businessman. He's a poker player. Sophie Rose in the chat says there, he's a poker player. Is it Bloom or Blue?
I think it's Bloom with an M.
Right, Bloom. Is Tony Bloom capable of manufacturing, like PR-wise or media, a bid, whatever way you want to look at it, to try and drive the price up. I think he's come to terms with the fact that he's probably going to lose Caicedo this summer. Like it's 95% chance he's going to lose Moises Caicedo this summer. So is this a tactic by him to drive that price up and get the best? It would be a very Brighton-esque thing to do in terms of their strategy in the transfer market. And I'm surprised there's no journalist has jumped on it and name dropped City, because we're such an easy name to drop in these sort of situations. City have decided they want to go and get Caicedo. Chelsea on the rocks. Yeah, Bloom. Thanks, Sophie. And put pressure on Chelsea. I still think he's Chelsea bound. I would love him at City. I don't know exactly where he'd fit in. I think number 8, like I said, but it's definitely an interesting one. I wanted to just talk about it quickly while I was kind of fresh on the tip of my tongue from that last stream. But let's talk about anyway the main news of the day. That of course is that the Great Wall of Manchester is finished construction. It has been built. The high-vis vests have been taken off. We have our guy, Josko Gvardiol. We tried to track his plane yesterday unsuccessfully. I will track his plane again. I will absolutely track his plane again. I will insist that over on City Extra, we track the plane again, because that is something I really enjoyed. But we got our guy. We got our guy for a lesser fee than initially expected, with no add-ons. And listen, in my opinion, I saw your tweet earlier on, Joe. Tiki, I weren't familiar with your game. Go into it.
I am so unfamiliar with this game. He is absolutely cooked on this transfer. He's managed to make it so that we are not paying any bonuses for winning any trophies or anything like that. And we've got him for less than it costed Manchester United to get Harry Maguire, which is simply unbelievable. It was so well worth the wait for that great a piece of business. So we were led completely astray from many different journalists. Of course, we had the Romano here we go blunder where he just kind of jumped the gun a little bit. He wasn't wrong. In the end, he wasn't wrong, but he jumped the gun a little bit on that, and there was a little bit of panic. But realistically, we knew deep down that this is someone that we've been chasing for a while, and the fact that it's only 77 million fixed, no add-ons, is criminal. It's absolutely insane that we've managed to pull something like that. Like, hats off to Tiki, he's pulled a blinder. Like, he's pulled an absolute blinder getting that price for him. So I'm happy it's over the line, because, I mean, one, I think when you look at, I like to use the phrase win now. We're in a win now mode with a lot of the players in our squad with the age they are. We need to maximise the winning window with the likes of Kevin De Bruyne. He's in his 30s, and, players like Bernardo Silva who are getting into late 20s, etc. And Gvardiol can come in and do that instantly. He's already that good of a player where he can make an impact instantly. But then you look at his age, he's 21? So he's also got like the next 10 years ahead of him where not only is he good now, but how good is he going to be in 5 or 6 years? Like, it's an unbelievable piece of business because it improves us right now, and it's so future-proof. Like, it is so future-proof as well. It's an unreal piece of business. But, I mean, the other reason why I'm happy it's done is because this took so much focus and such long of a time that I'm hoping now that we can focus on other targets. We can focus on maybe trying to find a Mahrez replacement, or maybe trying to find another midfielder, something like that. We don't have to focus on still negotiating crossing the T's and dotting the I's on the Gvardiol transfer. That's done. We can focus on other things. But, I mean, as for right now, it's an unbelievable piece of business. I couldn't believe it because I think the first piece of news was that I think Romano said that there was some bonuses, and then all the English journalists came out saying, no, it's 90 million euros fixed. It's a fixed fee, which is 77.5 million. Unreal. Absolutely unreal.
There's still 200 in the building, 120 likes, so just smash the like button as well. Genuinely, can't thank you guys enough for coming in and chatting to me and Joe. I'm reading all your messages. But I'm going to let you guys in on a little, not secret, but now that it's hindsight, which is a beautiful thing, and we as good as have our player, I was getting stressed. As you guys know, I'm just a fan. I just make YouTube content, saying what I see and giving my opinions. I was getting stressed, not because I don't trust the board, not because I don't back the board to do the right thing and that, but just because I didn't know what was going on. I was like, why is this taking so long? Why is, a deal that we've been working on for ages? Leipzig have set the fee on how much it's going to cost to get Josko Gvardiol. Why aren't we just signing the check and giving them what they want? My whole thing is, if Pep wants a player, give Pep the player. Pep is the successful manager. Give him the tools he needs to continue success. So I was getting kind of like, what the hell are we doing? And now today, with the news we've got, it all makes sense. The circle has been closed. You know what I mean? All the gaps have been filled for me, and all my questions have been answered. It makes perfect sense as to why this took as long as it did. The two main reasons. The first one, we've gone over a few times on City Extra. You'll know this, chat. We were not in a rush, essentially position-wise. You know, on the pitch-wise, we were not in a rush to get Josko Gvardiol because of the depth we currently have in defence. We already have 5 top centre-halves or 5 top defenders. Second of all, because Tiki and the recruitment team or the transfer negotiators were working on pulling off a complete and utter masterclass. We've known all summer long Josko Gvardiol was going to cost at least £86 million and possibly another 10-15 worth of add-ons. If you remember back to when the initial "here we go" broke from Romano, and then the kind of controversy followed that, it was because apparently Leipzig then started asking for more money. They wanted crazier add-ons, and we're all saying, "What the hell is going on here? This is mad now." No, Tiki played hardball. He kept his hand in the game. He poker faced it. He did whatever he needed to do, and all of a sudden we've come out with a player who would have costed 86 plus add-ons for £77 million plus no add-ons. That is absolutely phenomenal work from Tiki, who gets an awful lot of flack. Tiki gets a huge amount of flack for not doing business that fans want or certain people want, not getting certain players, not spending the right amount of money that people would like to see spent, not moving fast enough, only moving for release clauses. This is some of the best. Today is one of the best pieces of business that Tiki has ever done and ever will do. It makes so much sense. The way we've come out of this and the fact that we didn't break the record. You know, when the saga first began, chat, that Leipzig were hell-bent on making Gvardiol the record-breaking centre-half in terms of finances. They wanted whoever bought Gvardiol to break the record for a defender. It's quite clear now that Tiki was hell-bent not to do that and get the player. So we didn't break the record. The record, I believe, is still Harry Maguire at 80 million, and we got the player. You think of the ceiling that Gvardiol has. I don't think he's an £86 million player, but I believe he absolutely will be, and I understood the valuation. The valuation was because of his guaranteed potential. The ceiling that he's guaranteed to hit, in my opinion, accounted for the valuation that Leipzig were asking for. So it all just makes sense to me. It all just makes sense, and I think it's an unbelievable piece of business. And we're getting this guy for possibly the next 10, 12 years. I think he's made to play in the system that Pep Guardiola is currently evolving our team into, the 4 centre-halves. But to be one of those 4 centre-halves, you have to be, a high IQ footballer, able to defend, agile, and great with the ball at your feet. I've watched enough clips and I've watched enough matches of Gvardiol to know even just his passing ability alone is streets ahead of pretty well all the defenders his age in the world. He can break the lines with his passes. He has the vision of a midfielder. He has all the attributes, still quite raw, but all the attributes for Pep Guardiola to turn him into the best defender in the world. He's not the best defender in the world right now. I'm not going to gas him up like that, but he has all the attributes and the mentality for Pep Guardiola to turn him into that. Beside Diaz, beside Stones, whoever, Ake. I know I joke about saying the Great Wall of Manchester is now built, but I've never been so confident in any defense in world football. I don't just mean any City defense. Any defense I've ever seen, the names and the characters that we've put together now in our defense, it's frightening to think how solid they could become, Joe. And we know now, after winning the treble and seeing how we won it, how important it is to have a defense that's solid. We're not shipping 4 or 5 goals to Real Madrid in the Champions League. We're now shipping 1. It's huge.
Yeah, I mean, you might not like the man that I'm about to quote, but the once great Sir Alex Ferguson said, "Attack wins your games, defence wins your titles." And we saw that last season. We switched up our defence. We held on the 4 centre-halves. Maybe Kyle Walker was the only exception, but he played like a centre-half. And it took us to a treble. It powered us to a treble. We started off the season with that horrible 2 centre-halves, 2 inverted full-backs that just wasn't working. That's how we started last season. And it just didn't work. It completely didn't work. Kyle Walker just couldn't hack it whatsoever. We changed to slightly more defensive with the 3 at the back and the 2 in front. and we just went on we were like a steam train. It was hard to stop us. It was hard to score against us, and it served us well. And Gvardiol adds to that. I don't know. Now I'm interested to see how Pep uses him. I really am interested to see how he uses it. Does he use him? Now, of course, he will be used in both of these roles, I will imagine. But would he use him in that Nathan Ake role, sort of hybrid left back, left centre half? Would he play there? Would he play next to Diaz in the 2? I don't know where Pep sees him in his first season, at least anyway. I don't know where he's more likely to start off. You'd imagine if he was to start next to Diaz, that'd push Stones to right back or Kanji to right back. So I'm interested to see how it works, because I think when we discussed this, I think it was on the last live stream, that Laporte just can't play that left back role that Ake does because he's not agile enough. He could probably do the middle centre half role that Ruben Diaz does, but we've got Ruben Diaz there, so we don't need him. But he can't do that sort of wide centre half / full back role. And I think Gvardiol can. I really think Gvardiol can fill that hole. But does he play him there? I don't know. I mean, I suppose we'll find out. Because I think he can do both. But, I mean, in my mind, when I've imagined this transfer, it has been playing more in that Nathan Ake sort of role. But, with how good Nathan Ake was next season, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm really interested to see how it pans out, because he can clearly do both. It's just where Pep sees him, I suppose. I don't know. I really don't know. I wonder, what do you think? Where do you think he's going to play? Do you reckon he'll play more at this sort of left-back role or further central?
I think the beauty of having a player like Gvardiol, who, like I said, I think he has all the attributes to make the best defender in world football. The beauty of that is you don't have to just shoehorn him into one position and say, this needs to be your position. I think he'll be tried and tested. I think the fact that we're getting him in now with all these other players available, there will be different combinations tested out. That's not something I want. It's not something I like. I don't like experimenting. When you know what works, I like to stick to it. But when you get a player like Gvardiol, I think the best thing to do in that situation is experiment. Like I said, I don't like it, but the best thing to do is experiment to find out what suits him best, where he's most comfortable, what combination of players he likes to play beside the most. My dream back four at the minute is probably Stones at right back, inverting into midfield, out of or in possession. Then you got I don't know, maybe Akanji, or no, maybe Diaz, Gvardiol, Ake, even though I don't think Diaz suits right of a back three. I don't know. This is what I mean. I'm trying to maybe ask you in the chat as well. What's your best back four? Because I can't come up with my preferred combination where you fit all the players that you want in.
That's kind of what I was. That's kind of what I was thinking with. If you do play Ruben Diaz with Ake and Gvardiol, I'm not too keen on Ruben Diaz being one of the wider centre halves. I think out of all the centre halves that we have, or that we expect to have, let's just assume Laporte's leaving for a second, but out of all the centre halves, he's probably the least equipped, the least athletic to deal with that wider centre half role. I think if he gets caught with a winger, especially if it's a fast winger, I'm not sure that, he has an incredible reading of the game, so he'd be fine in that sense. But if he gets caught in a foot race, mind Ruben Diaz, I'm not too sure I back him against every single player. I'd much prefer him to have him in that central role, that central centre-back role, where he's not dragged out wide as often, which is why I asked the question. I mean, again, we're gonna see all variants, because Pep likes to experiment early on in the season and figure out what works and what doesn't work. So we're going to see every single variation. But I don't think I'd be as keen to see Ruben Diaz pushed into a wide centre-half role. I think he much more suits being central, where he's not being dragged out against a winger.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of Diaz having all that space beside him where a winger could get in and expose him. Diaz's best attributes are when he's down the middle. When he's down the middle and he's got a defender either side of him. So that kind of leans me towards maybe Nathan Ake missing out. And you have a Gvardiol, Diaz, Stones, you got a Kanji there. It's so hard to choose, chat. I'm looking at all of your combinations here that you're sending in. I'm seeing flaws in all of them. I'm seeing pros in all of them. It's one of those ones. Back three, Gvardiol, Diaz, Stones. Maybe Walker could become a right back more often. Gvardiol, Diaz, Stones, Walker, or Kanji. You know what I mean? It's one of those ones. And like I said, even though I'm not a massive fan of trying testing and experimenting, I think when you have a consistent setup or you kind of know you're starting 11, or even better again, once you know you're back four, you're more likely to get consistent performances. But because we brought in Gvardiol now and how good he is, we need to try out all these combinations. We need to try out who he works best with. Maybe we will see him do a left-sided version of what John Stones does. I believe Gvardiol has the footballing ability, technically, to eventually move into the kind of midfield area. He's fast, he's strong, he's technical. He's like a younger, probably higher skilled for his age than John Stones was when he was 21. I think he has the ability to grow into that if that's something that Pep wants. Or does Pep just see him as a better version of, or a future better version of what Nathan Ake is? I don't know. It's going to be one of those ones. But at the end of the day, this is absolutely, as a transfer, the player we're acquiring, unbelievable. But the business that our club is doing, it doesn't get enough praise. I think the fact that last summer we brought in, Alvarez, of course, in the January, and then we brought in the hottest prospect striker in world football, in Erling Haaland, in the summertime. Then you fast forward to this summer, we bring in the hottest prospect defender in world football in Josko Gvardiol. And it's not a case of we have to go out and spend Mbappe level numbers or 150 million for each. We got Haaland for 51 and we got Gvardiol for 77. The two hottest prospects for their ages in world football in their positions in 2 summers. That is absolutely unbelievable for the prices. And then you factor in all the sales we've made. You sell Jesus, you sell Sterling, you sell Zinchenko. You think the world's going to come in on top of you. No, we go on and win a treble. You sell Gundogan, you sell Mahrez, maybe Kyle Walker, and all of a sudden you're going, oh no. But then you remember, you're going, oh no, this is panic stations. But then you remember, why would I panic? Why would I panic? Because Pep seems to keep producing magic. Out of when you least expect it, he produces magic, and the board keep making unbelievable business. You sell Shea Charles for 15, 20, you sell Borges for 17, you sell James Trafford for 19, 20. All these guys have played 2 or 3 games between them for the first team, and they're paying for over half of what Gvardiol is going to cost. It's just unbelievable business. AD says best run club for a reason. Absolutely the best run club. Absolutely the best run club. And what I'll say is, if we do get found guilty of this 115 in the future, I trust the board and what they say that we're not guilty. I'll ask the questions then. But all we can say as right now as fans is what we are seeing and what we witness is the best run football club in the world. None of us are in the boardroom. None of us know the legalities. None of us know what's really going on. But what we see as a Manchester City community is our club being the best run football club in the world, bar none. There's nobody running their football club the way ours is. There's no other football club has the ability to go into the market and get what they want at such a good price. And you don't just do that by deciding, boom, our mentality is now switching to be like Man City's. To get to where we are as a business, it takes years and years and years of strategizing, long-term planning, and short-term planning. It's not just a case of, say, I don't know, across the road, Glazers go, all right, let's switch our transfer strategy. We're now going to be like Man City. No, because you've already fucked it. You've already fucked it. Everybody in European football knows you're overspenders. Everybody in European football knows you will overspend. If we ask you for enough money, you will probably pay it. Whereas City have done for years and years and years, not overpaying, setting our valuations, playing hardball, being excellent in negotiations to the point where you can't argue with us. Everything we do just works. It's like everything the board touches at the minute, from what we see, turns to gold. And this Gvardiol deal epitomizes that. Epitomizes that. I was ready to do a stream saying we paid 86 million for Gvardiol and there's 15 million in add-ons. And I would have been happy with that. I would have said, for the player we're getting, I understand it, and that's fine. But to then here today, we've spent 77 million and no add-ons, not breaking a record. We can still laugh at Man United and say, you paid more for Maguire than we paid for Gvardiol. I'm in dreamland. I'm in absolute dreamland. Honestly, it blows my mind. It blows my mind the business that this club can do, Joe.
I mean, the sweetener on the Gvardiol thing, aside from the price, the incredible business, the fact that it's done is... I cannot remember which journalist said it. It might have been Paul Hurst, said that last year Man United had 7 centre-back targets. Gvardiol was one of them, and they opted to sign the Argentinian Bilbao Baggins. I mean, that just sweetens the deal for me. The fact that United looked at Gvardiol and said no, and then we're looking 12 months later, and everyone's going, oh shit, City have signed Gvardiol. Just screams volumes about, like... I mean, we're not the first club to be linked with him. If I go back the last 12 months, Chelsea have been linked with him, Man United have been linked with him, Liverpool have been linked with him. You know, there's been a whole host of clubs linked with him just because of his potential. Tottenham as well. Just because of how good he can become. Just because of the potential that's there. And then fast forward 12 months later, and we've got him. We've got him ahead of everybody else. And it's like... And he's not even the most expensive in his position ever. Like, that is the bit... I think that's the biggest thing that I'm taking away from this that blows my mind the most is he's not the most expensive central defender in world football, which is unreal because I think everybody expected him to. That was the expectation before this deal was completed, was he's going to become the most expensive defender ever. That's what Leipzig want. They want, you know, they're not pressured to sell him. They've got him on a fairly long contract. They don't need the cash. They've just sold Szoboszlai to Liverpool. You know, they don't need the cash. They want his to be a statement. He is the most expensive. And we've basically gone and played hardball with them for a few weeks and come out the other side with exactly what we wanted, the player and not holding another transfer record. It's unbelievable. And I didn't expect it. I really didn't expect it. I didn't know if we had it in us. I was like mortified by the piece of news that came out saying that we were prepared to look for alternatives. When that came out, I was like, that did not scream good news to me at all. But you know, I was always positive on the transfer. I was always positive we'd get it done, but I didn't think like this.
I know it's mad, but like, you know, when we got the news this morning that we'd signed, or that we're about to sign Gvardiol anyway for this price, we know the price, we know the structure of the deal. I get all these rival fans sending for me, oh, you're cheaters, you're brown envelopes, you're 115s, you know, it's corrupt. It gives me an immense sense of pride, because my club is doing everything all these guys and girls and kids wish that their football clubs were doing. All these people are like, they would give their right arm for their clubs to operate the way we do. They would do anything to get a summer like Haaland, Alvarez, Akanji, even Phillips, I know, but like, you know, and then the following summer you get Kovacic and Gvardiol. You won a treble in the middle. You've won 3 leagues on the bounce. You're going for history with a 4th. And all people can say is you're cheats, with no real evidence other than Dave down the pub told them City are cheaters. It gives me so much pride that, you know, it makes it all worth it. You know, when I travel to games 25, 30 times a season, I spend thousands every year on my season ticket, my away tickets, my hotels, my flights, just to get these little W's, you know what I mean? These little wins where you're going, yes, this is unbelievable. I think the Gvardiol deal, it's just brilliant. It really, really is. It's just brilliant. We have a leader, a fantastic footballer, a fantastic defender, hopefully for the next 10, 15 years. You know, he's already streets ahead of where he should be for his age. Astute international, experienced Champions League player. Got roasted by Messi, but that happens to the best of us. Heads beer cups, you'll see on our YouTube shorts. It's unbelievable, man. It really is unbelievable, the Gvardiol thing. And I'm really, really, really excited. He won't feature, obviously, on Sunday. I wouldn't say he'll feature against Burnley. Maybe 10 minutes, I don't know. But I think after that, I think we're looking towards September with Gvardiol is when you'll really start to see him get his opportunities. But listen, either way, I'm absolutely buzzing. It's a shorter stream than usual tonight because obviously the Avengers show went on longer than usual. I really, really appreciate all of you guys coming in. We just want to talk about Caicedo and Gvardiol, but I've been streaming all day, so I've got a bit of a headache and I need my dinner. So we're going to wrap it up now in a second, but there's the final poll. Caicedo, 71% of you said yes, 28% of you said no. There's still 200 in the building. Like I said, please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe if you're new around here. honestly can't thank you all enough for coming in. It's the biggest stream we've had maybe ever in terms of numbers. We will go live probably tomorrow evening. So if you want to come back and have more chats, myself and Joe, we chat about mainly City, but we'll chat about other things too if there's things happening. But once again, thank you all so much for coming in. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, like it on your way out. There's loads of content to come. There's shorts up for you guys to watch. Go have a look at all of our shorts. They're all City shorts, fans, football related, Harry Kane talk. Go have a look at them. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Definitely. You know what? For all of you for coming in tonight, we'll go live again tomorrow. So we'll see you tomorrow. Wrap her up, Joe, and we'll see you in a bit.
Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand. 'Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, 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 believe. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand. 'Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, if you just believe, if you just believe, if you just believe. Listen to your heart, listen to your heart, listen to your heart, listen to your heart. Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand. 'Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, 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 believe. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand. 'Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, if you just believe, if you just believe, if you just believe. Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you